So I think that up to about an hour ago, business leaders had no choice but to say they're not going. And it's interesting, it's the US business leaders who said it. The Europeans have been much more quiet. After what was announced an hour ago, I think that business leaders are going to be split. In my own case, I was invited a few months ago. I couldn't go because of a conflict, a scheduled conflict, so I said no at that stage. But I know that the people I talked to were very torn, but most of them felt that they had to say something.
And you're saying the announcement made in the last hour, which announcement?
That there will be an internal investigation, that the Saudi authorities are now saying we're going to take this seriously, we're going to look into it, and we're going to report something.
But can I ask a question? Do you think that they're taking it seriously? Or we were talking about this is when you round up the usual suspects and announce some kind of story that somehow insulates the Crown Prince from all of this. And in fact, could you even make the argument that the United States has slow-walked this situation in large part because of the relationship that they have had and because of all of these geopolitical issues?
I mean, yes, on the U.S. slow-walking,
Yep.
it's a very important relationship for both countries. So it's not a surprise to me that I slow-walked it. I think on the investigation, you have to wait, whether it will be different this time around. There's certainly intense pressure, and that's unusual.
Right.
So we're going to see.
Could have you made it conditional, meaning I think my understanding of what a lot of the executives were hoping for was for Stephen Mnuchin or for the administration to say, we are actually not going to go until and unless we receive new facts which suggest something very different.
Yeah.
That rather than suggesting we will go unless we hear facts that are materially different.
Yeah, I mean, in business, you always want a cover, right? And if the government can give you that cover, and I think that's why you report on these phone calls,
right,
it'd be much easier. Or alternatively, have the Saudis postpone it, right? But neither of these things happened. And ultimately, the pressure on business leaders not to go is immense.
Right.
I mean, let's say that you hear a tape that has MBS or one of his people talking about this before it happened. And then, you know, we've seen the pictures of the 15 guys on the jets and everything. So let's say that they actually are unable to totally refute that they had anything to do with it. But what if they were to say, okay, it went horribly wrong. These guys, this wasn't supposed to happen. We wanted to bring him back, talk to, you know, whatever. What if that, you know, we wanted him to come back on the jet alive and talk to him.
That's why they brought a bone saw?
Well, that's another thing that we don't know. Well, then you're saying that there's no... I mean, what if they said we're sorry? What if they said it was regrettable and it won't happen again? And if
that's the case, they should have said that already.
Right, but if it's not the case, and if they totally are guilty and complicit, then what is it?
Look, there's other people who believe that this whole thing... Look, there's other people who believe that that Turkey, in this instance...
Right.
Has its own motivations. Turkey, by the way, and its own relationship with Iran. I mean, there's lots of things going on here, and that's why it's such a delicate dance. I have a very difficult question to ask you, which is, you said that you couldn't go because of a scheduling conflict. If you didn't have the scheduling conflict, what do you think you would have done at this point?
Certainly last week I wouldn't have gone. Okay, I wouldn't have gone. This week, I think the investigation is going to be interesting to see what comes out. What I find fascinating is the market reaction. It's not that much. You're talking about the major oil producer, and yet oil prices are up less than 1%. CDS in Saudi Arabia moved 5 to 10 basis points. That's nothing. So the market is telling you...
Though? Is that the market saying the Saudis will not be able to stop selling because it will hurt them more than it will hurt anybody else?
Basically, it's saying that this thing is not going to be a big deal. So it's interesting because the commentary is going to be a big deal. The market is saying, yeah, somewhat of a higher risk premium in the oil market, somewhat of a higher risk premium in sovereign Saudi, but not that much.
What do you think the risk is for the U.S. companies like the Blackstones and BlackRocks and J.P. Morgans and their relationship long-term, and Uber and everybody else who has said that they won't go? If everybody effectively doesn't go, does that mean the relationships stay intact, or does that mean that the Crown Prince looks at them and says, you know what, we're going to move our money to hero price?
So the nightmare for a business leader is that she or he decides not to go and others go, and governments go. But because then their statement is much stronger. You know, let's see how it evolves. And that's why there was a lot of hesitation. These people waited and waited and waited.
Right.
They didn't announce immediately. Uber was different. Uber came out up front.